Welcome back to Accidental Racism.
Thanks, Halo.
Or its alternative title, Why Oh Why Won't They Stop Making Jurassic Park Movies? We're doing a Patreon special today.
And just for the patrons, I'm not wearing any trousers.
It's actually true. That's not a bit. Like, it's... I mean, Toby, if you want to take a picture.
Toby dared me. I made a joke and then Toby said...
I'm taking a picture.
Okay, great.
The people need to know. They need to be told.
They need to
see my horrible scar.
They need to see his chocolate.
I hope I'd washed it.
Oh God! What? Oh Jesus Christ!
It's covered in chocolate. What were you doing? Making a cake. What else do you do?
I thought there was chocolate inside.
There was never a chocolate.
Why was it wrapped in foil?
It was never wrapped in foil.
Okay, so we should probably read the story. So this is a bit of a special one because it's sent in by a patron, but unlike most Patreon requests we get, this is from the author. So this story is called The Kirby Curse, and rather than being a fan pasta that someone sent in of us or being one they found, they want us to critique their story. Now, it's important to note that yes, this person has given us money. However, my attitude is, if you wanted to be treated with kid gloves, you wouldn't have sent it to us.
Yeah. Also, the joke's on you. You've already paid us.
Just immediate refund request goes into my inbox.
Yeah.
Well, the video's not even out yet, and I've already got that request. Let me just decline that. The Kirby Curse. I've been repressing this memory for 8 years. Great way to start your Kirby story. The thought of revisiting the events of that day brings me unbearable dread. However, posting the story might save innocent people. So it is my obligation to spread this warning. It's already too late for my friend. I was 10 years old at the time. Every Saturday since 3rd grade, I would go to my friend's house and play video with him.
Oh, God. Did he actually say video?
No, he didn't write video. No. I'm just spicing it up. I'm doing what Mr. CREEPYPASTA does. That's right, I'm spending my Patreon money on a suit of armour.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else entirely.
Yeah.
What? Jesus Christ.
Does he at least wear it when he's reading them out?
I would.
Yeah, it's actually impossible. It's so distracting. You just hear clanging of all the plate. Just like,
Oh, Matt, you put your trousers back on.
Yeah, it's more comfortable. This chair is quite... I like the idea he's like... Because he's got his helmet down. It's just an echoey, like... Oh, wow, he sounds a lot less dreary and boring now. Okay, so if Eeyore was doing a few crimes on the side, would that just be Mr. Creepypasta?
Abso-fucking-lutely. For the sake of privacy, I shall call him Stan. I never had many friends at school, but I did have friends who had the names of 60-year-old men. But I didn't mind because I was content spending time with Stan. It was on a Friday when he told me that he got a game called Kirby's Return to Dreamland. Oh God, we've done Return to Dreamland stories, haven't we, before?
Yeah. Why is it that one game which is apparently so creepy?
I would have thought the new one where he's like boring inanimate objects would be the really creepy one.
Before that cursed day, neither of us had ever played a Kirby game. So we were both pretty excited. Every day I think about how I could have prevented all of this.
I could have hit him with a car, smashed the table over his head, any number of things I could have done to stop it.
It's like every day we were so excited about playing the game. How could I let this happen? Why?
Yeah, how could I... My
Bit
God.
jarring.
We played Kirby. How could I have allowed us to play Kirby? It's so melodramatic. How I could have prevented all of this if I just destroyed the game disc. Sure, he might have gotten mad at me, but it would have been the best for both of us. My mother drove me to his house at 1:30 p.m. as usual. Well, I feel like 1:30 is fine. Like, the p.m. is... I feel like from context, I'm gonna figure it out that it's PM.
I used to force my mum to drive in the middle of the night. He was angry. My mum was angry.
I don't know why I kept doing it.
Dear Stan, I keep writing, but you aren't replying. Whatever the wet lyrics are to that old song now.
Stan and I went into his basement. Then he inserted the game disc into his Wii. Stan started a new save file. We then watched the opening where Kirby is holding a piece of cake while running from two other characters. I don't remember their names. They passed by some sort of knight who was reading a book. In the sky, what appeared to be a flying boat fell apart and crashed to the ground. This at least feels more believable because every time you read one of these, there's so much detail. They're like, and they name every character. And Waddle Dee was, for
he was using
precisely 8 seconds, was vomiting blood all over the camera. I like how vague this is.
Check the time, 8:03. How did 5 hours pass? You know, all that shit.
Yeah, but this is just like... Yeah, there was some night
it was
there.
8 years ago, so I vaguely remember some crap, and you haven't been looking into it much.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that makes more sense then. I remembered everything and every detail.
The four went inside the ship and approached a person in a blue cloak. Kirby and the others offered to find the missing parts of the ship for him, and he accepted. In the area select screen, Kirby hovered above the area that would scar me for life. Cookie Country. This is a joke. This can't be real.
I don't know sort of Kirby
So
in
funny.
intricate details, but that might be a name of the place.
It's just like the place that will haunt me forever.
Donut County.
Donut planes.
That's it, Donut Plains. Fucking love Super Mario World.
Me too. Unlike Stan, I was able to select my character because I wasn't player 1. I chose Waddle Dee. We went to Cookie Country and entered the door to stage 1. Almost immediately, we encountered another Waddle Dee. It looked like the one I was playing as, but without a bandana or a spear. Remember what I said about how there wasn't too much superfluous detail? Yeah. There was a sign near it telling us to press 1. I pressed 1 while facing away from it, and my Waddle Dee stabbed the air with the spear. I felt like you were just recounting the normal game to me.
Yeah.
At this point, I got the feeling that something was wrong. The game wanted us to attack this creature, and as though it was an enemy. I guess it was supposed to be, but it made no attempt to harm us. Why would the game want us to attack this innocent creature? Stan faced it and held 1. Kirby had inhaled the Waddle Dee. Stan chuckled slightly and made Kirby jump around for a few seconds, enjoying himself. I had never seen him like this before. He was taking pleasure in torturing this poor defenseless creature. This definitely feels like a joke.
I kind of think I know where. I hope it's going where I think it's going.
I felt sick to my stomach while watching the scene.
Okay, should we just call it now? What we think's going to happen?
Go on, what do you think's going on?
I kind of hope this guy's just a massive pussy.
Yeah, and like nothing's scary. I think that's going to be the punchline. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm not going to bet against you on that one because I think you're absolutely correct. Basically, yeah, calling it now.
He killed the boss, the monster. What
Yeah.
did he make my friend do?
Well, it's a very short story, so it can get away with just being kind of a one-note joke, and I think that joke, is going to be a normal Kirby experience described as a horror. Kirby inhaled the Waddle Dee, blah, 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 blah. I felt sick to my stomach watching this scene. Stan soon stopped jumping around and pressed 1 again. Kirby spat the Waddle Dee out, but in the form of a star. The star vanished after colliding with a nearby block. I couldn't believe it. Stan felt no remorse for killing it. He had just murdered the Waddle Dee, and yet he just kept walking forward as if it had no significance to him. Why would Kirby, who's supposed to be a hero, dole out such a cruel fate on an innocent creature? I was fighting back tears at this point.
Oh my. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Very well done.
Just play completely straight.
And he sent it to the wrong person. They should have done a Mr. CREEPYPASTA to do like a really serious tone for this one.
And Kirby spat out the Waddle Dee in the form of a star. Stand and care, what a monster.
Clank, 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 clank.
His armor
tears
just
coming down
collapsing
my-
together.
Yeah. My face.
Couldn't stop me having sex with multiple women who were not my wife.
That's what suit armor's for.
Yeah.
It's suit armor, chastity belt.
I walked back upstairs. I wanted to walk back upstairs and leave, but I didn't. I couldn't. I couldn't stop following from behind and watching Stan's rampage. He shortly killed 2 more Waddle Dees. After gazing into his hate-filled eyes, I didn't dare tell him to stop, lest I provoke his wrath. We encountered a Blade Knight who was standing in front of a Waddle Dee. It swung its sword in a fruitless attempt to defend itself from the bloodthirsty Stan. He made Kirby inhale it, but after he did, the nearby sign told him to press down on the directional pad. Kirby cruelly and mercilessly swallowed the knight. He acquired a hat and a sword of his own. Tears cascaded down my face.
Every paragraph.
Why would Kirby do this? Was this his twisted way of collecting trophies from his victims?
It's a fucking predator.
Stan took pleasure in this. He slaughtered the rest of the enemies in his way with the sword mercilessly and without compromise. Each foe he faced was helplessly stabbed and slashed to death by the barbarous pink spherical creature that obeyed his every sick command. He also asked me why I was just sitting back instead of fighting enemies. I just told him that I was still trying to figure out my character. Luckily, he believed me. We reached the end of the area and went through the door.
My hands were drenched in sweat. We found ourselves in an underground area. Stan's massacre continued on. He was completely numb to the violence and suffering he inflicted on those poor souls who did not stand a chance against Kirby's power. I felt nauseous by the time he made it back above ground. My headache wrought unbearable pain. The next enemy we encountered was another Blade Knight. Unlike the last one, this knight had a star shape on their forehead. Stan made Kirby get rid of the sword ability, inhale this new Blade Knight and swallow it. He obtained a new ability, Ultra Sword. I held back tears at this. I wish he said that. Kirby's appearance was similar to the normal sword transformation, but the hat and sword were more intricately designed. Stan made Kirby approach a land structure with 2 Waddle Deez on it and pressed 1. The sword grew to an enormous size and Kirby swung it. Not only were the Waddle Deez killed.
You were trying to make that a Deez nuts thing.
Yeah, I was, kind of. Not only were the Waddle Deez killed, but the land structure was destroyed as well. Not only was Kirby a mass killer, he was also an anti-environmentalist. Does his malevolence have no limits? I couldn't stand to watch the depraved butchery. Stan looked like he was impressed with what he had done. This, in quotation marks, game, was turning him into a cruel, demented sadist. He ran to another structure with 3 Sir Kibbles on it, and they met the same twisted fate as the Waddle Deez. I couldn't take it anymore. I had never witnessed such depravity before. I vomited on the basement floor. That rhymed. As Stan got up and asked me if I was okay, I fainted. During the time I remained unconscious, I experienced a horrible nightmare. I stood alone in an empty black void. I walked around, but nothing happened. Eventually I heard footsteps. I turned around, but no one was there. I looked all around the area, but I could not find the source of the footsteps. Then, standing several feet away from me, he appeared. Kirby. He didn't look like the Kirby in the game, though. He looked like a pink, round human head.
Nice.
What, you mean like the troll pasta?
I was just picturing like he looked like Peter Griffin.
Under where the ears would normally be on a human head
Underwear.
were pink human-like hands. Under his head were 2 red-like human feet. We stared at each other for what felt like hours. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. I couldn't run from him. And then he said it. Hi! In his high-pitched voice from the game. Immediately after, he sprinted towards me. Who wants to be the voice of...
Jacob.
Jacob, the protagonist. Wait, what? Has he got a name?
Kirby! No!
Those were my last words as he reached my location and inhaled me. Vor. I woke up in my room. My mother sat at the edge of my bed and told me that I had passed out in Stan's basement. She told me that Stan and said I was profusely crying and got nauseous as we were playing Kirby's Return to Dreamland, and that he had no idea why. I was terrified and furious. Not only did this game turn him into a cold-blooded killer, I knew that no one would believe me if I told the truth. That Monday, I was dropped off at school at the same time as Stan. I was petrified when he approached me. He asked me if I was feeling okay. I was horrified at what he would do to me, especially if I told anyone. If he can serenely exterminate Waddle Deez, imagine what he could do to me. That's the fucking quote of the 5th creepypasta.
It needs to be on a shirt.
After just staring at him with pure terror for a few seconds, I sprinted inside the school and made it to class. I wish I didn't have to, but I cut off all ties with him. I refused to talk to him, go to his house, or answer his calls. I had to stay away from him if I wanted to survive. After a few weeks, I saw him spending time with another boy. I overheard one of their conversations during recess, and they were talking about how they had so much fun playing Kirby's Return to Dreamland. Stan had become an accomplice in the brainwashing of more children. Both Kirby and Stan are menaces to society.
Beautiful.
Luckily, I have managed to evade them all this time. I have seldom left my house for years. My mother has been telling me to go out more, but she doesn't understand the horrors out there. She should be thanking me for boarding up the windows instead of treating me like a crazy person. I can only imagine how many innocent people Stan has brainwashed into becoming sadistic killers. If one of your friends invites you to play Kirby's Return to Dreamland, do not accept the invitation and stay far, far away from them.
Big twist, this story is actually written by Big Sega.
Fucking brilliant. Who's the author?
The author is Broadway Rob.
Fucking fantastic. I love that.
Need more
That was
comments.
brilliant.
Yeah, so there's no
Really
comments on it.
funny.
I'm hoping that there will be some after the story.
Okay, so this is on
after
the
video
troll
comes
part.
out. Yeah, so this is written as a troll. Obviously, it's not a bad joke either. It's just it's a one-note joke, but it's not bad by any
If
means.
it went on for too long,
Yeah, like it's just long enough to be funny as well. Like,
I kind of want to see if we could get this. I mean, if like you could go back in time and post it on, when people gave more of a shit about the CREEPYPASTA,
Yeah.
post it on to and see if who wouldn't get the joke, basically.
So funny.
Like, oh wow, I was so scared of this story, and like, oh my god, this.
10 out of 10. Better than Jeff the Killer.
Yeah, like on Okay, so this was posted on Christmas Day. I fucking love.
yeah,
That was so bad.
I'm very excited to go back and listen to this for the edit and pick out the moment where we realise it's a joke. That I think is going to be the best part. All right, well, thank you so much to the guy who wrote it, to Broadway Rob. Appreciate it. Appreciate your support. Thanks for being a patron, and thanks for sending us your story. If anybody else
Probably
has,
the best one we've read in years.
Yeah, I mean,
I
like,
say the same thing.
it's actually achieves what it sets out to do. So it's
It wasn't
like, unlike,
10,000 words of dreck, so.
unlike most creepypastas, this one isn't trying to be scary and therefore actually succeeds in being somewhat funny. So well done. The use of language is very on point. It really feels legit. There were times where near the beginning where we thought it was a real one. You did a good job of that, I think. Yeah, not bad by any means. Well done.
It's a shame because that would have been a really good joke.
Yeah.
if you
Well, we'll
thought
see.
of
If it is the thunder, if it's a heart, we'll edit that out.
Alright, okay.
Yeah. We'll cut that. We'll edit that out.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
And then I'll remember when we get the thunder, I'll say, oh man, you really stole that guy's thunder or some shit, and I'll seem really clever.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll edit this in a way that makes me seem not stupid. But I know what you mean, though, like playing these sorts of games.